Cool. So, Chris, give me an update your end so I can feel out what's going on.
Well, basically, I guess in recent months, I was doing really good with the channel, with my YouTube channel, and with just like working, learning new skills, and just grinding. And then for whatever reason, it just felt like I was really starting to doubt myself and all that stuff. And I mean, it's typical, but it does happen. But it just seemed very strange that all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I was procrastinating like crazy, completely uncharacteristic of recent months. And then suddenly, I've never had this before, started waking up at like 3 a.m., 4 a.m. in the morning and just instantly having like anxiety, fear, not to the point of where it was driving me crazy, but I could feel that gnawing in your chest. And I was like, what's going on? And my mind's automatically going to thinking about, oh, you made a mistake. This isn't, you shouldn't have quit your job. You shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have done that. It's not going to work out. The last few videos you've done have got no views. You were getting thousands of views before, but now you're getting nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, man, what the hell? So I tried, I've been journaling, I've been meditating, and it's been helping. And I also started taking some supplements too, like magnesium and stuff like that, because I'm pretty sure that I need some nutritional stuff as well. And it seems to be helping a little bit, but I just, yeah, it was very strange that it just all of a sudden, and still, I woke up this morning with a little bit. It wasn't nothing compared to what it was just a few weeks ago, but it's just like very strange, very strange. And yeah, it's a ongoing battle to develop my subconscious into someone other than an employee because I've been an employee my whole adult life. So, you know, it's a work in progress, but that's where I'm at right now.
Cool. Got it. Okay. So, Chris, what I'm going to share with you is the anatomy of anxiety and how these things start to manifest. My experience with anxiety is very extensive because I suffered from high anxiety from the time I was a small child.
Mm,
I developed my first anxiety disorders when I was single digit age.
wow.
Yeah. Endlessly overthinking, not wanting to leave the house. It was a complete struggle for my parents just to physically get me to school because I would protest, cry, not want to be there, deeply anxious and fearful. I didn't really understand what was going on with me. And of course, being a small child, you just assume that you have low confidence, you're just scared, things like that. Sometimes it'd be really strong and prevalent, and it'd mean that well, for the first like year or two of school, I physically couldn't even get into the classroom. It was insane how much anxiety marked my life. Really insane.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd just be in the cloakroom with like a bunch of coats on me, and I'd just hide there. And the teachers at that time didn't really understand what was going on. They didn't understand anxiety. This is the 90s. They didn't understand what was going on with me. They just assumed, well, just let him be there and he'll grow out of it. So that was kind of the move and the way they dealt with it at the time. They introduced me to one friend and I kind of started to come out of my shell and they really encouraged him to hang out with me and whatnot. And I started to come out of my shell and that did help. But this would be a backdrop for my life for many, many years. Some years it'd not be too bad. Some years it would be really difficult. And this just escalated and went back down and escalated throughout my life until I graduated university. And then it kind of hit me that, oh my God, I have to go out into the world now. I have to now be a adult and go and fend for myself in the world and have responsibility and figure life out. And literally had a incredible mental breakdown at that point. Housebound agoraphobic for 2 years, didn't leave a room for 2 years,
Mm.
My mental health issues, like as I said, was from small childhood and compounded. I didn't know what anxiety was because it'd just been my experience my whole life. I didn't
Yeah.
know any different. Like I didn't know people didn't have this. You know, it
Right.
was the weird world that I used to live in. So sure enough, I got to, I want to say 24, and I started to reflect and deeply research, right? I'd been trying to fix it since I was like in my first year of university, and I did exposure therapy and all these sorts of things. And I tried a lot. I tried medications. I was under care of doctors and whatnot. And I was just really trying to white knuckle my way through life and just push myself. And exposure therapy just didn't work. And I wasn't able to rid myself of those feelings of anxiety. And it was those feelings that stopped me from forming relationships. I had a lot of anxiety around women that made me feel uncomfortable, so I didn't date. Okay. And I didn't know I had all these challenges. I didn't know it was anxiety disorders. I just thought I have low confidence, there's things wrong with me, and so on. So sure enough, I get to 24, and yeah, at that point, I'm so fucked up. I turned to drinking and drugs and things like that in my early
Mm.
20s to cope with this. Drank a lot, would go out and drink a liter, like, a whole bottle of vodka, like alone, before
Oh,
even going to, yeah, stuff like that. Big time binge drink and stuff like that. Um, So this was a big challenge for my most of my life, man. Get to 24 and yeah, at that point, I was just dead serious on fixing this because I couldn't work, I couldn't function, I became completely obese. My brain wasn't working, I had brain fog. It was just done and dusted, right? And fortunately, the whole journey up till then, I'd done research, I'd tried things, I'd tried so many different things, mindfulness meditation, different medications, spiritual healing, fucking yoga. Oh shit, all this fucking different diets. Oh man, therapist. I did so much, dude. So much, year after year after year, and I just couldn't get rid of it. And by the time I was so deep in the hole of anxiety, I was just desperate to find a solution. So in my search, I initially just wanted to understand what is going on with me. Why does this happen to me? Like, why am I having all these sensations all the time? Why am I just always thinking about like my weird anxieties? Why is it always, why am I so obsessed with it? Why can't I just be relaxed and at peace like everyone else? Found out about a great organization here in England, not too far from me, right? That help people overcome anxiety disorders at the actual roots. Learned
mm.
tremendous amounts from them, understood what was going on with me. Applied all their techniques, got a lot of results, and then had to, fill the gap with my own methodology because frankly, there was some things that they didn't understand, which I had to learn myself, and then I developed Pine Will. So here's the most powerful thing that they told me. They helped me understand what was going on and how anxiety disorders start and how they manifest. There can be any sort of precipitating event that makes them happen, but usually it's something important or life change that triggers it. It could be a new job. It could be breakdown of a relationship. It could be moving to a different country. It could be um, like in your case, transitioning to entrepreneurship, okay? Or it could be having a child, anything. They help me understand that in people who've got a genetic susceptibility to developing anxiety disorders, when they're undergoing something that they perceive to be really important, their anxiety levels are prone to massively elevate because how they've lived their life, they've trained themselves to kind of respond to the environment with a certain level of inappropriate anxiety. So they're prone to overthink. They're prone to actually engage in certain behaviors that breed anxiety, such as avoidance of things, such as like limiting their life in some sense, right? There's a certain set of behaviors that if you are prone to engaging in, they breed anxiety in your subconscious brain, right? And I understood it. I understood, well, I could step back and see, oh, that's how I got like this, always worrying. And I was like that my whole life, always being concerned with what people think, what am I going to do, overthinking, all this sort of stuff. And I essentially wired my brain to be really, really fucking anxious. So when I went through that life change of leaving uni and then starting a new chapter, all those anxious pathways I'd built through decades of conditioning just went to a crescendo, and it started to create these symptoms. Yeah. So it starts the cascade of these symptoms where there's racing heart, dry mouth, you can't quite think straight, endlessly thinking and worrying, and oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh my God. This organization explained to me what is happening there. These are called risk assessments. Yeah. When anxiety is present, the brain is constantly performing risk assessments. Essentially, it's what if, what if, what if, what if, what if this happens? What? And then your brain's just prone to anxious flights of fancy. What if I end up destitute? What if I end up here? What if this happens? What if? And it's endlessly just on a loop trying to find the threat because the ancient system that we have to preserve ourselves, the amygdala, the fear system, okay, once the thermostat of anxiety has been increased, yeah, and we're not able to find the saber-toothed tiger, identify it, and then bring the threat levels back down because we live in this modern world now. When we're not able to send the right data into our sense organs to bring the thermostat back down, it stays elevated. Your
Mm,
anxiety levels stay elevated, yeah? And when they're elevated for too long, you develop an anxiety disorder, okay?
mm,
And that's when you're prone to these symptoms, yeah?
mm,
So when things are going on, your subconscious brain, which has been wired this way, you'll have these symptoms where you get up and the first thing on your mind, you may have a few minutes or like a 30 seconds of clarity and then there, it's there again. Because your subconscious brain is bubbling away trying to find a threat, trying to find a threat. Some things in the environment that's a threat, it's trying to find it. Okay. When I understood that, I got it. So because my brain was trying to find a threat for like 20 years and I kept giving into it and allowing myself to think all these thoughts and all this shit, neuroplasticity took place and it built a really anxious brain through conditioning and repetition and also engaging in the behaviors,
mm,
giving into the disorder, like actually not going out, actually giving into it and saying, no, you must be right. So, all right, I'm just going to be limited now. I'm going to be in my house now. Yeah, because I can't really deal with the outside world. When you give in and you allow these sensations and thoughts to just proliferate and proliferate and proliferate and just be active, essentially you're sending signals to your brain that yes, there is a threat in the environment. It's here somewhere. So we need to be hyper vigilant now. And we have to
mm,
keep worrying, because we have to find it. It's here somewhere.
mm,
Your brain and body is going to utterly prioritize your survival above everything else. It doesn't care about your hopes, it doesn't care about your dreams, it doesn't care how you feel. If it thinks you're under danger, then it will prioritize that above everything else and put you in hypervigilance from the moment you wake up. Your sleep's not restorative, things are going to spiral. Okay. That's how the emotion of fear works. It's just an emotion. And when you're in the anxious state, you've just you've just essentially you're sensitized. Your nervous system is very sensitized. Okay. That's normal. You just did a big life change. You just left your job. Okay. That's normal to go through. Okay. That happened to me. Now, of course, at this point in my journey, you you could come here with a fucking gun to my head and I might feel a little bit of fear, but I'm not anxious anymore. I'm not like that at all. I speak on fucking stage, dude. Like in front of
yeah,
hundreds of people. Like I'm really fucking confident now.
yeah.
Um, because I understood what happened to me and then I did the work to change my brain. Okay. It could be anything that triggered this, dude. It could have been that, you didn't get a promotion and then you'd be obsessed with that. It could be that you had to move somewhere else in the country and it could have triggered it. It doesn't really matter what
Mm.
the specific trigger was. Okay.
The mechanism's the same regardless of what triggered it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one fundamental mechanism. Yeah.
Mm,
So to address it, what you have to do is bring the thermostat back down. Yeah. Okay. So how I overcame this and how so many other people have and how I help people do it and whatnot. Chris, it's about structure. Yeah. Structure and compliance to that structure. Okay. When our anxiety levels are active, the problem is that it's a subconscious loop. So stimulus is coming in from the environment, it's going into our eyes, our ears, our sense organs, and the subconscious is detecting it and responding with fear. That's subconscious now. Because you're in this state, it's just going to be on a loop. How you deal with this is you break that circuit consciously, deliberately. You actually have to break it. Okay. So in the short term, the way you live your life, something has to change because you have to switch off the mechanism that's now active. Okay. And that's going to require you using your sense organs, your eyes, your ears, your skin, all that differently to send different data in because your nervous system is sensitized right now. And to desensitize it, you're going to have to give it different data, different stimuli, and think differently and put your mind into different things. And how this works is as your organs and sense organs are like finding a threat, when you're intellectually focused on something else and you're really engaged with it, you're sending safety data into your subconscious brain. So it's your subconscious receiving this data that, wait a minute, he's really enjoying this. He's doing something. He's properly engaged. Maybe there isn't a threat. Maybe we can just relax a little bit more. Okay. That's actually what you have to do now. Yeah.
Okay.
You have to actually feed it the data to get it to be, wait a minute. I don't think he's in major danger. I don't think he's going to be made destitute and homeless. I don't think he's fucked his life up. I don't think he's made all these errors. Maybe he's okay. Let's bring the vigilance down. Maybe let's just reduce our anxiety levels now. That's how we naturally recover from these disorders.
Mm.
Okay. Structure. What does that mean? So when your nervous system is operating like this, Chris, you have to have a structured way of living your life. It's not going to go on forever, dude. It'll be a short period of time. You'll get over it. This is going to switch off and then you just resume your life normally. Like now I live
Mm.
my life normally. I don't have to do any of this shit. But right now, what we want to do is have a like routine. So you want to work out pretty much Monday to Sunday, a routine for yourself, yeah? Get up at this time. And I would recommend you actually have a written list, right? Keep it like I do similar things
Mm.
where hour by hour you know what you need to do. Okay. And what you really want to be doing as you're going through this process of breaking the cycle, you want to be doing activities that are different from the norm. So
Mm.
you want to shake up the matrix, go places you haven't been before, do things you haven't
Ah,
done before. Yeah, stuff like that.
okay.
Watch different types of videos because the problem is your subconscious brain right now is kind of bored. It's busy,
Mm.
but it's not getting the new, novel, stimulating data it needs to pause for a moment and say, wait a minute, maybe he's not gonna fucking die. Okay? Because
Mm.
if you're repeating the same thing again and again and again, right, in a subtle way, you're telling it, yes, this level of vigilance is correct. Just stay anxious like this.
Mm.
Okay. You're starting to get it, right? So you need to actually break that cycle. How I did that when I was going through this process is like I studied Spanish, I practiced my
Ah.
guitar, stuff like that. Yeah,
Mm.
different activities. So I had the Michel Thomas method. I went on Udemy. I bought a little Spanish course for like $10. Did that every day. Then I did that for 2 hours. Then I'd do like a drama class. I'd go to local drama school over here. I'd do that. Then I'd
Mm.
it was just endlessly flooding it with different activities, like watching documentaries, just new stuff. Your brain has to
Ah.
be, yeah, your brain has to be saturated with new, interesting, novel, stimulating data. Yeah. And as
Ah.
all that data is going in, your brain's going to be like, because everything's processed by our subconscious, it's going to
Mm.
process it. And well, he's been fucking stressed for like weeks and he's been worrying, oh, what if this, what if, but all of a sudden he's not doing that. Now he's trying to learn this language. So it's
Mm.
going to build new neural pathways and it's going to decode all that data in the subconscious and it's going to send signals to the amygdala, dude, switch off, just chill. He's not in danger. It's okay. It's okay. And it'll progressively bring the thermostat down until it's at your baseline again. And then, dude, if you repeat this for long enough, like through conditioning, which is what I did, I
Mm.
kept repeating it, then you install a firewall in your brain so you no longer have these problems anymore. Because
Mm.
your brain relearns how to handle the emotion of fear. Because at the moment, your brain hasn't learned how to effectively and in a healthy way deal with the emotion of fear. The emotion of fear is when you're like, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if this happens, what if that happens? Those I have those emotions as well. I experience them, right? But it's that my brain knows how to deal with them very effectively because of how I've trained it.
Mm.
So I can have all this uncertainty and just be like, okay. Like, when I was going on these big, when I've been on these channels that have got like 500, 400K followers and whatnot, and on panel shows and all that, and I don't even care. I'm cool as a cucumber. But the old version of me didn't couldn't even go in a fucking room, couldn't talk to anyone, stuff like that, right? Mad social anxiety, real bad. Um, this is how you overcome that by
Wow.
retraining your brain. Okay. So, um, to be honest with you, like I did, my brother had this problem, I helped him out. It was over a week, he was done, never had the issue again.
Mm.
I don't think it's gonna take you too long. But
Okay.
man, yeah, you'll be fine, Chris, literally. But I'm gonna say the key takeaway from this call is to schedule your day for a full week. So Monday to
Mm.
Sunday, have a hour by hour block, right?
Ah,
And
okay.
you have to completely saturate your mind, right? Hour by hour, doing activities that are interesting, that are stimulating, that are making you feel happy to be alive, that are making you feel
Ah,
intellectually enriched and engaged, like you're learning new things, like you're growing, like you're thriving. You have to work your brain like a muscle, okay? Because at the moment, it's just not given that day. You're doing the same things then again, again, again in your life, which is good, which is fine. But when your systems become sensitized, that's a problem. Yeah. So
okay.
now yeah. So you have to break that cycle by doing new habits, new behaviors, right? New
Mm.
data, new things going in. And then the thermostat's going to come down and it'll go away. Um, and then, dude, then you can do the deeper work on like the of to get to your next level. Then there's other things that you can do. You can explore those beliefs. You can explore all the stuff that's going on within. Fine, that's fine. But we first need to do it from a place of normal physiology without anxiety. Okay. You
Right.
need to be balanced, emotional equilibrium and mental equilibrium, Chris. Yeah. The video I sent you, I mean, I didn't know we are gonna have this conversation today at all. I didn't know it was gonna be like this. But when I sent you that in the chat today, well, I sent it to everyone, that was when I was going through this problem.
Mm.
Yeah. That version of me, every second of the day, he was suffering insane anxiety, dude. This is why people consider me a legend, dude. I was obese, extremely anxious, and now I'm a top performer, really killing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's these things that I had to go through and learn about structured living. And I turned it into a performance business because I know so much about every aspect of performance, right? And I know when people are going through different things, how to fix it. Yeah. If you just work on the beliefs and stuff like that, right? I mean, I now know more about your case. I mean, I would have got to this if I had more data, but I now know what's going on with you. Yeah. And I now know what to do. So to serve you and give you maximum value, create that schedule, right? Feel free to send it to me. If you can,
Yeah.
I'd recommend just write up a document, zip it to me on WhatsApp. I'll review it. I'll help you refine it and I'll ask you the right questions to optimize it. Okay. If you,
Okay.
perfect. If you literally just put on a mask for a week and it can be pretend you're someone else, pretend you're in a different person entirely, yeah, and wake up and just play the role of that. Or it can be Chris, the version of Chris who's completely at peace, non-anxious, right?
Mm.
And engage your brain in new, novel, stimulating data. And I promise you, I can absolutely fucking guarantee you, because I know this backwards, backwards. I've been all the way down to the bottom of this rabbit hole and fixed it. There's not a single aspect of anxiety that I don't know to an elite level. There's nothing. I was so in that world, dude. I was literally living in that world of anxiety, being on the internet with all these other fucked up trying to recover, right? And I did it. And I'm one of the ones who escaped. So I try to now help other people as well when I get the opportunity, like I have now, to get them out of it. So get that schedule written up, dude.
Cool.
And the thinking that you want is, okay, my brain is essentially busy bored right now. I need to stimulate it. I'm understimulated it. Because you're understimulated, these thoughts are given mind space to run amok. What if I shouldn't have left my job? What if this? What if this? What if this was a bad move? I'm not getting any views now. All this, that, the other. Yeah. Anxiety, anxiety, anxiety. That's all it does. It focuses on the negative and it just runs with it all day because it's trying to find the risk. It's trying to find the predator. Your nervous system is too highly attuned and you need to bring it back here where those things don't happen. Yeah. When
Okay.
the thermostat's up here, it's chaos, mate. Bring the thermostat back here, and these things don't happen anymore. It just doesn't take place. You have doubts, you have concerns. I have them. I express them. I share. I do journaling on them. They progressively deteriorate, decline, and I other things come up and I work on them. Everyone knows about my insecurities because I'm open and I work on it and I journal on it and I do men's work on it and I have my own coaches and I keep advancing in life. That's where I'm in my journey. And those are the problems I'm dealing with. And as I resolve them, I'll get to higher levels. As are you going to progressively, there's just one problem right now. You'll solve this, you'll get further ahead, then new things will come up and you'll solve that. And that's just the game.
Yeah. Okay. So a question. So it's like, is this like kind of a periodic thing where, let's say, you start a new skill or you start a new part in your life and you start grinding, you start learning how to do that thing, and then you kind of start getting stagnant, and then maybe that anxiety will start to come back again. Then you would need to, for a week or two, switch off completely, switch up your game for a week or two, and then that'll reset, and then you go back to the grind, so to speak, but then you can actually level up and be calm. Is that kind of where it's like kind of going back and forth,
Your thinking is
at least
absolutely correct.
initially?
Your thinking is absolutely correct. You absolutely get it. But here's the thing.
Okay.
This is a tactic. It's a tool. It's a method of bringing your fear levels down. But over time, you adapt and you have to do it
Okay.
and you stop. You don't have to do it anymore.
You don't have
But
to do
for
it
a
anymore. Okay.
while, you do have to do it.
Cool.
Yeah, because your brain has
Cool.
to
Cool.
properly learn how to. I've had guys who I've helped with it. I've helped many people with this problem, right? I just did it even before I started a business. I was doing this stuff because I like it. I just like it. Yeah. My friend, I'm not going to say his name, but he went through a big, like, traumatic event. Like, he lost a huge amount of
Mm,
money on Bitcoin and shit.
mm,
Crazy, right? He was a massive amount of money as well. Sucked. But yeah, like he was completely traumatized by it, right? And I recommended he do this to like heal himself because he was totally like he'd become a complete alcoholic, dude.
mm.
Like he was in huge amounts of alcohol every day, and he'd never done that before. Like his life fell apart because of this trauma. So we did that, and he did journaling and stuff. Lo and behold, it took a few months, but he picked up again. And yeah, he's sailing around the world now. He's in Mexico with his beautiful girlfriend, and things coming together for him.
Nice.
And his
Nice.
life's he's healthy,
Yeah.
he's in shape again. Yeah. But now he doesn't need to do this stuff. But this is a tool that you can it can be part of your toolkit that you can use as and when, as and when. At where I am now in my journey, I basically can just perform. And like for me, my performance is fucking solid. I have got it down to a fine art. Monday to Friday, apply myself. Weekends entirely off.
Mm.
Completely off. Recharge my battery, fully heal, get back, apply myself, continue to level up. It's very simple. Any other questions?
Um, yeah, just real quickly, because like there are things that I definitely have been wanting to do, but do you suggest doing completely and utterly different things that you're like not even accustomed to at all, or things that are more like passions that have been just being put on the back burner? that you're familiar with them and you do have long-term goals like music, for example, like I'm a musician and all that
Yeah.
stuff. But it's like, is that an acceptable, like, okay, well, now I'm going to actually put some time into learning something new that I am passionate about. I mean, I'm passionate about it all, but like Spanish is one thing too. Like I've been wanting to learn Spanish, but I just have been putting it off. And are those acceptable things, or is that too much work? I
No,
have to do something completely different.
no, I get it. So, here's the thing, yeah. The way to think about the actual activities that you're going to do, how you might want to think about this is to start two mind maps. One mind map, you're familiar with mind maps where you write something in the middle, circle around it, and then just explosion, everything that comes up, just chuck it on there. Yeah. Okay, cool. So one mind map is things that you used to do that you enjoyed that you stopped doing, right? And just everything on there. That could be a bunch of things, right? For me, it was like I used to enjoy socializing. I stopped doing that. When I was really anxious, I stopped doing it. I used to enjoy, yeah, going to events and like festivals and raves. I stopped doing that. So all those sorts of things, okay? And then another mind map might be things that you want to do in the future, whatever it might be, whether it's picking up a new instrument, learning a new language, all that, okay? Those things will give you ideas of what needs to go into your day structure and schedule, okay? And feel free to just chuck them in there and just repeat the behaviors and do them with passion and like vigor and drive and be really engaged as if they're the most important things in the world. Okay.
Okay.
Um, where it would be like as we say, too much work, like that is a really good point. It's like where you are in your journey, when you are experiencing like elevated anxiety, it's because your current day isn't sufficiently stimulating for you. Yeah. Even if it's activities that are moving the needle and important and all that, if you've got all those thoughts running through your head, it's because where you are in using your capacities right now, your brain's fully adapted to doing that. It's got the pathways. You're not creating new neural pathways. You're not creating the learning effect. You need to create a neurological learning effect to pause, to get the brain to stop this cycle, because
Okay.
otherwise it's going to keep going. Yeah, when the brain goes into like learning and creating new pathways, then it stops this insane anxiety storm. When people go years and years with anxiety, like I did, it's because their life is unstructured and they're not properly stimulating themselves. Their life's too small. Yeah. That's why the brain, those
I
thoughts have
see.
started. That shit started. The worries, the fears. And because they're
Yeah.
like cocooned in this world where they're
Right.
not really putting their head above the parapet, it's allowed to subconsciously continue. Okay.
I see.
And how
Okay.
I stopped that is I lived a massively expanded lifestyle, massively expanded. And I've lived like that for fucking 3 years nonstop. And that's why I first recovered and then I got higher and then I got higher and now my social freedom and now my like confidence is way higher. It's because I kept expanding and retraining my brain.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what we have to do in this process. So
Makes sense. Because
you're getting it.
I understand that now because I have been isolating myself. When I was on Andy's program, I was at the end of it, I was training Spanish at the same time, making sure I was going to the skate park and practicing my kick flips and blah blah blah. And I felt great. I was like only doing 4 hours of work, but I was doing great on the channel. But then I started getting serious and isolating, and I stopped going out, stopped meeting new people, and then yeah, no wonder it's like duh.
That's it. You
But
get
I
it.
just
You
didn't think about it. I just like, oh well, I'm getting more serious now, and it's like it
it's
actually
it's not like that, Chris.
didn't. Yeah,
No, it's not. It's not how performance is a journey. To get to be a really top
yeah.
performer, which is what you want, what you're looking for, it's a journey and it's you need to get yourself like consistent, joyful performance where you're enjoying it, you're not
Okay,
suffering, where your life is balanced. You know how I
okay.
approach this shit, you understand my philosophies, and they work. They're battle tested for 14 years, and I know it at elite level. I
Cool.
learn a lot from people like Andy, really smart, love them to death. This is a
Yeah,
very deep game. Yeah, very deep game. Where you are right now, I'm doing my absolute best to serve you in solving your current problem. And I think if you go away and apply this, you're going to get a lot of benefit from it. Okay.
appreciate it, man. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Absolutely welcome. Um, anything else you want to ask?
No, just let me know. Just let me know if you have any questions for me. I mean, I don't feel as I have I'm still very early on my journey. But if you have any questions for me, or if you ever need to visit California and need some something, let me know, because I
Appreciate
really
it.
appreciate your time.
You're so welcome, Chris. Anytime, man. It's a pleasure. I really want to see you get to the next level and excel. And like my priority is to see you flourish and make some fucking money and be successful. Okay. You've got unbelievable potential. There's absolutely no reality. There's no future where you haven't done something amazing. So let's get this channel really built. Let's create some offers. Yeah. Let's have a program that you're doing it, and let's start building an audience because you're perfectly capable of doing it. Um, and we're gonna get you there for sure, dude. So I'll send you this recording, and
Cool. Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, and I'll make